go again.
Here we go again. Indeed, it is going to be parting against MarineKing, as we described earlier. An unstoppable force against an immovable object. We just saw MarineKing tear Tasia apart in the first game with great mech play, very fast armory upgrades. By the way, it was Maru Prime who did that double armory before. Thank you, Twitter, for tweeting at me and clarifying that.
Yes, speaking of Twitter, add us on Artosis. He is Proxy Wolf.
Yeah, please do
and
that.
And add Call Me Tasis and tell him, please get better, Nick, you poor guy. We feel so bad when he's sick.
Yeah, it's just not the same without Tasis.
He doesn't get sick very often. This is actually the first day of GSL since we've started that he's missed because of sickness. Yeah,
that's actually very true.
Yep.
Well, we do have the first map is going to be Metropolis.
Oh wow, I'm so surprised it's not just in Tomb Valley like we always see these two play on.
They do the exact same build even if it's a regame.
Yeah. It's always funny to see how that goes. But Metropolis, it is.
Yeah, with a capital P.
So, Wolf, you think MarineKing's taking it, right?
I actually think I would put my money on MarineKing if I had to bet. And
well, I'm betting on parting.
Well,
so,
we'll see what happens, man.
I just called my bookie. I'm ready.
All right, here we go. MarineKing against Parting, our winners match. One of these two players will be advancing after this. Only time will tell who it will be at the GSL Code S. Me too. Good. Not anymore, though. Now I'm back to normal.
Now I feel like I'm in StarCraft II.
Yeah, me too.
Who's that
All
guy?
right.
Tell me who that guy is, Wolf.
This guy is our Protoss player down in the middle of the map. Bottom middle, I should say. Our red Protoss. He is...
Party.
Parting. May part ways with this group in advance. Well, he'll part ways one way or another.
That's true, he will.
He's not just going to stay in the same group next season. His opponent up here, we described him earlier as an unstoppable force. He's a very aggressive Terran. He is...
MarineKing Prime.
You know what would be really cool?
What's that?
Is if he was in the same group next season and everyone thought, wow, Wolf is such a fool. How did he get that wrong?
Well, what I mean is... I don't want to get into it.
Actually, there's no way because two of these people are seeded in next season, can't be in the same group.
Yeah, see that? Yeah.
So there you go. I just saved you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, Wolf, save me. Tell me, what do you like about this map in this matchup?
Well, you know, this map is one that I find if you're a Protoss on, you're going to feel pretty good about because the way that you can take a third base on this map feels comfortable against Terran in certain scenarios. Liquid General, we miss you. And, you know, General, of course, a very successful Terran player, one of the most successful foreigners in the GSL.
I haven't seen him in, like, months.
Yeah, he's not been around very much.
I don't know. I just haven't seen him. It's weird. Anyways, go ahead. Talk about this map.
The third base here is a little bit vulnerable to, for example, Marauder run-bys if you don't have those rocks killed. But otherwise, it's a base that's fairly comfortable. I'm okay with taking a fast throw in here. That seems to be Parting style. He is going to go for a very fast Nexus again here, cutting out the Cybernetics core. Yet again, we saw him do this in his very first game against the STC. And again, we talked about this earlier, which one of these types of builds will edge its way out. You can see there our match history. The last time they played against each other was in a very controversial match in the GSTL Season 1 final of 2012. And it was an epic match. If you guys didn't see that,
yeah,
definitely recommend going back.
The first one was epic.
Very well-spoken, Artosis.
Thanks. No problem. I says them like I sees them, Wolf.
You can see here at the map win rate at the bottom. The best way to put it is that neither of these players have played very often on this map. So it's not a map they will feel as familiar with.
But it's on the ladder, so, you know, they're going to hit it
of
plenty and practice it for events as well. So, Parting Scouts sees Command Center first. I like the choice. Of course, MarineKing with double racks after it and 2 gases. Now scouting Parting and seeing, oh, wow, that's kind of funny timing on everything. He's going to realize, this looks like the, you know, before the core get the Nexus build that Parting does. And that's something that Parting actually does quite often. You know, every top Protoss has a slightly different expand that they like. For instance, Oz recently has been using a lot of Nexus first and a Gateway on super long maps, and then on maps that are a little bit shorter that have ramps, he loves that Forge Fast expand, whereas Parting has been showing us this build a lot lately.
Yeah. And usually, in my opinion, the way that these Protosses choose which type of build they want to do is whether or not the Protoss wants to be aggressive with the Zealot and Stalker. Because if you go Nexus first, you kind of miss that timing a little bit to move out and be aggressive. And with this one, even when you cut the Cybernetics core corner, you don't lose really any build time on the Stalker with it because the Zealot was coming out anyways, and he just wants to control the Watchtowers with it. He may poke at these Marines, but based on his movements right now, it looks like he's not. Now, notice in this game, he's going up to those 4 gateways, like I talked about in the first game, was a possibility. In the first game, he went for that faster third Nexus. In this case, though, he's going to be putting some pressure on MarineKing.
Yeah, and I do like to see the pressure. You know, MarineKing, even if he's rushing up as quickly as he can to Banshee, then this is still going to be okay against that. You know, he can throw up a robo as this pressure begins, and if MarineKing it was a little bit too greedy, he can kill a lot. Worst case scenario, he forces extra bunkers, picks off a few units here and there, maybe kills some SCVs, forces some lost mining time. I like it.
Yeah, I like it as well, and it's something that I wouldn't say is more popular in Korea than in the foreign scene. Usually if you see a 4 gateway push in this matchup in the foreign scene, it's a 4 gateway off of 1 base. But this build allows you to do a lot of different things. Parting right now is going to trade fairly well with this no matter what, unless he completely messes up his control. He's going to get some SCVs, get some units, and then he can make a Robo back at home. He can make even a Nexus if he wants to, depending on how much army he kills. He's got a lot of different options. The only way this can go poorly for him is if MarineKing defends perfectly and Parting overextends himself.
Yeah, that is the key here. Parting has to overextend for this to go really poorly. Now, a Siege Tank will pop out and probably sit in the high ground and punch away at him. But hold on, he actually is not moving in position at all here, so that's going to go down immediately.
Oh,
Siege Tank on the high ground, very important, but he's killing down some SCVs. Really good job by Parting so far.
He ignored the bunker right away, which was pretty cool, seeing that MarineKing didn't have any Marines in it. This is a good force field, trapping these Marines on the low ground. And the tank adding a bunch of DPS in here. He's got to be careful, does not want to overextend himself, as we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, he's got to be very, very careful about this, because that Siege Tank does do a lot of damage.
He's going to lose some sentries here, and I feel like he just barely crossed the line here.
Yes.
He's actually just barely crossed the line. He overextended just a tad too much. He is going to try to make use of these units he still has left, though, and target down some Stalkers.
Yeah, you know, he did slightly overextend, but he's making good use of it. You know, he's like, well, everything's already dead except the Stalkers. These things are quick. I can still do some damage. So I like that he's staying now that he already lost the sentries.
Yeah, and MarineKing looked like he thought, oh, he's going to turn around, I'm going to go kill the pylon, and Parting was like, no! Warps another round of units.
It's like, I need that. It's for supply and warping it.
Exactly. That's exactly what he was thinking, and this is, now, see, like I said, he can take a third Nexus. He's actually double gassing up as well, and he can continue this pressure, but it's not going to go on for much longer with that medevac out.
Yeah, he's got to be careful here with the medevac, with the Siege Tank. Everything's going to start dying. He cannot lose too many units, because then the counterattack is going to be too powerful for Marine.
Look at his micro. Look at how he pulls back the weakened Stalkers. He is trading so well here.
Oh, and he gets the medevac. A huge
Look at all these units. Look at how low hit points they have. Look at the shields. This micro is unbelievable.
Yeah, Parting has some of the better Protoss micro
we've
seen.
Oh my god, I think he's going to end this game, Artosis.
He's killing off so much. MarineKing cannot be happy here. It's getting some Marauders out with more Marines, another Siege Tank on the way. And Parting just is not done. He just will not say quit.
Yeah, he has done more with a group of Stalkers than I think I've ever seen anyone do in my entire life.
Yeah,
I mean, nobody's ever been able to make Stalkers do this against medevacs with Stim. No one's ever done that.
There's 2 Siege Tanks that he killed off too, which is insane.
Look at his micro. His micro is just incredible. I'm freaking out a little bit here.
You're freaking out a little bit. Wolf, get a hold of yourself. But it looks like this will finally end because, oh my god, he killed another medevac. MarineKing, you're supposed to be the king of micro, but it turns out that Parting has taken your crown. Maybe you can be his queen.
Oh man, I have to erase everything I ever thought about having Stalker Zealot sentry ratios when the medevacs are out with Stim, because he has made this work. He took this into a landslide. He got a slight advantage, and he didn't go home. He was able to make only Stalkers work, pure Stalkers against medevacs, Marauders, Siege Tanks, Marines with Stim, and eventually combat shields.
And now they have +1. So, all right. So I want to point out that during all that, he just did amazingly, keeping the units down. Not just that, killing SCVs off. He killed 25 SCVs. Okay, at this point, it's 62 probes to 36 SCVs. Parting has 3 bases. Parting right now is just adding mass gateways. He realizes, oh, all I have to do now
is defend that third base.
You just make a bunch of units and you don't die in the coming minutes, and the game is yours, Parting. I mean, I'm actually astounded because, you know, it did look like he did a little overextension there. But I guess we were wrong, Wolf. I guess it's okay to just lose all your sentries to kill a Marine.
He knew that he had the army advantage, and he was like, most processors can't do this, but my micro is unbelievable, and I will do this.
We saw him do the most unbelievable micro almost that I've seen from Protoss was him versus MC in a previous season of GSL. I don't know if you remember this, but he did like this amazing micro on Entombed.
I do remember that game.
I was just sitting there, I was like, well, this is like the best micro I've ever seen, and then he made like one wrong decision.
But he should have won that game. I remember that game.
Yeah. That was,
God.
oh yeah, I remember I was talking about it with you actually in between. But, we saw back then that Parting has just the most unfathomable Stalker micro, and he just did it again. He needs a, well, no, he doesn't need to switch his ID to Stalker King, but it would be suiting.
I hope we don't have any more of those. I'm not a fan of that King ID switch.
Yeah, me either.
MarineKing moving out with the smallest group of units I've ever seen. It's like taking a handful of Cheez-Its out of the Cheez-It box and throwing them at somebody. That's about as effective as this is going to be.
But wait a minute, he brought the rest of the box of Cheez-Its.
Oh, he did.
And these Zealots are slow.
Yeah, they are slow. Charge finishes, though, and he's not even going to drop Force Fields. I love this. He knows Force Fields are going to hurt him rather than help him here.
And MarineKing going to lose a lot of units here, trying to get away, losing additional. Whoa. Never mind, I was going to say losing additional siege tanks. Turns out, no, he's not.
He's trying to do everything he can. He can't stop Parting. He's out of control at this point.
Yeah, he's completely out of control. And I mean, he's got complete map control at this point. Just barely doesn't kill off those
He's even
medevacs.
warping in units at forward pylons that are set up here to catch these units. Oh, he's done everything correctly. Now, MarineKing does have a pretty defensive position here with all these siege tanks. For Parting to just barrel in here might be a mistake. I don't like this.
Zealots all behind those Stalkers in the front. He's got to be careful about that. Bringing up a High Templar as well for feedback.
He's going to trade pretty well here, but he doesn't have to do this, I feel, since MarineKing does not have a third base.
Targeting down medevacs, I love it. Trading Zealots for medevacs right now, a good choice, but he's got to be careful and get out of there. He
look at the supply, man. He was way ahead. Now it's evening up, in fact. He is trading fairly decently, and since he has a better economy than his opponent, he can afford to do so. He also has that Storm Tech on the way, but MarineKing has better upgrades for his bio, and now he has that army advantage that he can use to pressure the third base of Parting again. So I'm not sure if I like him trading like that.
Well, you know what's really interesting is MarineKing is kind of freestyling here and continue to build siege tanks, but he doesn't have siege mode. I'd love to see siege mode because right now Parting is basically going mass gateway units with High Templars. Storm is about to finish, and a siege tank push here could be very helpful.
Yeah, it would really help him hold a firm ground against Parting.
But instead, I mean, Parting is going to be playing like a swarmy, zergy type of style here, trying to throw down some Psy Storms, and MarineKing is not going to be able to fall back to anything powerful like siege tanks with siege mode. So this is still going to be very rough for him. And there we go, some Psy Storms going off.
So those are not the best storms, but again, Parting just does not hesitate. He slows MarineKing down a little bit here. He's warping in some more units. Oh, that was a great storm, and that may spell disaster for MarineKing as more Zealots warp in here.
MarineKing doing a great job microing back so well against these charge lots. They're not being as effective as Parting wants.
Yeah, MarineKing, this is the problem, man. MarineKing he's got great control. He had that army advantage, and he's running with it. I feel like Parting's decision to attack earlier may come back to bite him here.
Well, he's warping in more and more Zealots. Can he do it here? These 1-1 units doing so well. The siege tank's doing very well as well. Keeping all 5 alive this entire time somehow. And these Archons with the Psy Storm looks like it should be enough to push this back.
Oh, man, that was so close. I would just watch Parting climb out of a shark's mouth.
Well, now the shark is going
He's going for the second bite, man.
This is absolute madness, Wolf.
This game is on a razor edge right now. Looks like MarineKing will finally be pushed back. There are too many charged Zealots here. Even with these reinforcing units, Parting just has too much. MarineKing is going to have to go back in full retreat.
He is indeed, but the game is a lot closer than it was before. 90 supply to 108 now.
These medevacs are out of position. He's not able to trade really well here.
Still kiting these Zealots oh so well. Look at that. Those charged Zealots having a really hard time actually connecting with anything. MarineKing doing a great job. Both players at 1-1 upgrades at the moment.
Yeah, this is, you know, MarineKing defended that attack so well. He came out with the right timing, but I feel like similarly to how we saw the STC lose the parting, what happened there? There was a high tempo somehow. I don't know, but
I'm trying to figure it out, Wolf.
MarineKing moving a ton of SCVs here. I feel like MarineKing overextended himself just a little bit, and his reinforcements got caught. He lost a lot of them here. Parting's production just eventually caught up with him because he has that third Nexus. Now, these SCVs are not going to be very useful with this many Archons here, to be quite frank.
This is actually going to be gross, and MKP is going to have to GG. The Archon's just too good against these SCVs, almost completely useless in this battle.
Yeah.
Well,
it's GG.
Wow. Wild game there, Wolf.
The best part, I feel, was Parting being ballsy, not turning around with those Stalkers.
I want to say something. Tonight is a night that should live on as a night where Parting and MarineKing have redefined what you can actually do with these units.
Yeah.
It is astounding. The fact that MarineKing almost came back, the fact that Parting utilized those Stalkers, he lost his Sentries, he lost his Zealots. He's like, no, that's fine. He fought against Marine Marauder, Medevac, and Siege Tank with pure Stalker, and just showed us things that we didn't know were possible.
Yeah, he showed us, that's the best way to put it. No one has ever fought Marines and Marauders with Medevac, Stim, and Combat Shields with Stalkers before and pushed them back. No one has, I have never seen
like
that before.
Nothing like that. And, I mean, that was MarineKing too, so he was microing his heart out. So, amazing game there. Amazing almost comeback by MKP, but Parting got a little bit too cocky. He's like, well, look, I mean, I killed all your SCVs. I killed so much stuff. I have 3 bays. I'm just going to kill you charge. But that was not a good scenario for him to attack into, and MarineKing almost brought it back with those siege tanks.
He almost did, man.
That was insane.
Great control by Parting. Great timings by MarineKing. Very strong knowledge of where to be and when. But the production of Parting just caught up with him. He had 3 Nexi, and MarineKing tried to continue the pressure. Like I said, I feel like maybe he overextended with his reinforcements, but if he goes home, what happens? He doesn't have a 3rd command center. Why would he go home? He was just banking everything on that push.
He
it didn't work.
And that was the right choice. If he makes another command center, Parting takes another base or 2. And, I mean, he might...
He already had Storm. He had the Forge upgrade spinning.
You'll never stop him if you don't try to kill him right there. That was the only choice from MarineKing. Parting just out-microed him too hard in the early game. So that 4-gate pressure turned out to be almost a killing move.
Yeah, he killed so many SCVs, so much army. And the question is, did MarineKing skimp too much on defense? I mean, he didn't know what Parting was doing, and this may redefine how many bunkers Terrans have to make with this type of build against a Protoss. It's a scary thing to be a Terran right now with how many different pressure builds players like Parting are showing us. The 4-gate pressure, even the double Nexus into 8-gateway pressure, things like that are making it very scary to be a Terran right now. How can you know whether or not he's going to attack you with a ton of gateways?
It's hard to know, man, and that's why a lot of Terran players are like, oh, you know, Protoss Imba. But, you know, it's just one of these revolutions of the metagame. Things will come up that help them to figure that out, and MarineKing probably will be one of the people that helps to figure those things out.
Definitely so. Well, we have a real treat here. We're going to have Entombed Valley. These guys have shown awesome play on this map before. I cannot wait to see what MarineKing will do. Will he use his normal 2 Medevac +1 timing attack? Will Parting hold it? What will happen? I don't know, man. I can't wait.
I have no idea either.
Wow, man. Entombed Valley could be on National Geographic.